Hello, everybody. Welcome to Midwest Parent Talk Radio. I'm the G-Man. That is Deb. And we are
Hello,
here
everybody.
another Thursday.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Don't do that. That hurts.
So we're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. Remember, go over and smash the subscribe and like button and get us somewhere in an algorithm where we'll come and we'll bug you on your For You pages. We were on Twitch or on TikTok for a while, and they changed something up. So I need to go back in there and get us registered back for TikTok Live and get us back on that platform as well. Also, don't forget us on Rumble if you guys do any kind of rumbling.
My tummy does all the time.
Right, yeah, I know. So does the ghost. Gurgles. And subscribe over on Rumble as well, because we're a little bit more, we're more suited to Rumble, I think, than we are at YouTube.
Really? I've never been on there.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, we can say what we want kind of over there instead of having to do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because, you know, you'd like to say bad words. And I don't ever do that shit, so I don't know what you're...
You liar.
And new background. What do you think? A little stars happening behind us?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, the other one kind of hypnotized me a little bit, so that was kind of scary.
I like that one, though.
I like it a lot, too, but it made me kind of want to go to sleep.
Last week, we were getting out of there, and you clicked the live button.
Did I do that?
Yep. And it ran for like 2 minutes before I realized, because I started getting notifications that Midwest Parent Talk Radio's live. Actually, shit is going on. So I jumped in and I looked at it, and it's just that background for like 2.5.
We're hypnotizing you. We're hypnotizing you.
10 likes on just the
See, it hypnoptizes people and they think they like it.
I was like, God, dog, we got more hits on the damn background.
I wondered that when I saw that it went live, and then I'm like, wonder why it says that, and then I just clicked out. I'm like, okay, sorry. That's what happens when you have an old person for a podma.
I was dying. What is that?
The sad part was it got more likes than the actual show. That's so good. That is so good.
Hold on there. We're on now.
What?
Dude.
What are you doing?
I have to check YouTube. I don't want people to think that I'm ignoring you and put it in the chat that I'm ignoring you, not paying attention.
Oh.
But I'm going to check the YouTube page right now.
I just put Jay's in there. I just said howdy. That's me, Jay. Not great. Yeah, it's been that kind of a week. I mean, I was telling Greg, Tuesday was my 30th wedding anniversary. And I actually had to take a picture of it and show my friends because no one would believe me if I just told them. Not only did my husband and I buy each other the same exact identical card, and I have no idea when he got his because I didn't even see him go anywhere, and he's old and retired and never goes anywhere. You know, not only did we get the same exact card, but we bought each other the same candy. We bought each other a bag of dark chocolate. That'd be the best anniversary gift I've had in 25 years. Anyway, we got a bag of Hershey's dark chocolate kisses. because we both like dark chocolate, and Hershey's Kisses are the right size when you're on a diet all the time. And one of those 4-piece of Reese cups, because Reese cups are my favorite candy. I kid you not. When I walked in and looked on the kitchen table, I'm like, what is this? And I got a little creeped out. And then when I read the card, I'm like, oh my God. And I showed him, we both died laughing. I said, I have to take a picture of this because no one on the planet will believe this. And then I looked at him and said, I am spending way too much time with you, sir. I have to get out of this house. So next week I'm going to Robbie. And I won't be on Thursday. If we do a show other than, if we do one on Friday or on the weekend, I can hang out. But Thursday I'll be at my son's because I have to get out of here. I'm too much like my husband now. That's paranormal world for you. I mean, that shouldn't surprise me given the way the rest of my whole life has been.
For sure.
If that ain't a message from the universe, damn them.
That was funny though. I'm like, I saw it. There's like all on the table. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know, it was weird. It was like a mirror image of the same thing. I mean, it was bad enough we bought each other the same card. I think we did that one other time, maybe about 10 years ago. We bought the same card. It was like on Valentine's Day. Neither one of us is real mushy. When I pick up a mushy card, I'm like, ooh. No, I can't do that.
You're right.
No, neither one of us is mushy, sloppy like that. And so many of those cards now for spouses are just so gooey. It's like, I don't know. And then I started looking at, I was about to buy one that just said friend. And then I could write on my level of mushiness at some other point.
Right. Yeah.
But
friend. Hello,
yeah.
friend. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, hello. I'd scratch out friend and put husband. Then we're good to go. But it's like, so we did that one other time. But to get the same card and 2 other gifts that are exactly identical, I'm like, okay, that is my proof that I am living in some weird alternate reality, and somebody needs to go unplug the Hadron Collider and plug that son bitch back in. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, that was pretty cool.
Make for a great story too.
Excuse me, boy.
What's the matter? You okay? You okay? Do I need to call 911?
These meds and the way that they affect me is a lot different than any other, and it's just like, wow, dude. Indigestion. What was that old commercial back in the day? Where they're like indigestion. It was for like Rolaids or Tums or some kind of
Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, was it?
It was Pepto-Bismol.
Man, did you see I posted something on Facebook today about if you grew up in the 70s, then you will remember these, like they're like commercials and
I love that kind of stuff.
Breakfast cereals and ding dongs and original Twinkies.
And the ding dongs of my day were wrapped in aluminum foil.
Come on.
Dude, that was my mom's favorite snack.
Hell yeah.
And she would buy 2 or 3 boxes at a time, and they'd be hidden all over the place, hiding from my dad. But they had each one was individually wrapped in tin foil.
Yeah. The alley. Yeah.
I love those sort of websites. It brings back so many memories, and I love the ones where they play the old commercials from the 60s and 70s. Mostly the 70s, because I was in junior high school in 1973. So,
God damn, old.
Look. That way I don't get a beep. It's a visual.
Right. Wait.
Here, my dad would say, let me turn it up for you so you can hear.
Let's see. In 1973, I was a whole ripe age of, wait for it, 3.
Whatever.
Well, how old are you? Like 27 in 1970?
No, I was born in 1959.
Oh my God!
I'm actually in the 50s. I was born in the 50s.
Wow.
The very end. But I'm not a boomer. I swear to God. I don't think like a boomer. I don't act like a boomer. I'm a Generation Jones. Woo-hoo.
So what the fuck does that mean?
Just
Wait, what the
look
fuck
it
does
up.
that mean?
You said the F word. You are fired. Um, look it up. Google it. Generation Jones.
Oh, can I get my?
We're the baby boomers that are actually still a little cool. We haven't gotten to that.
I call bullshit on that.
Get off my lawn stage quite just yet.
God damn kids, get off of my lawn. Sons of bitches. All right. Generation Jones refers to the demographics born between 54 and 65. The
cohorts
position between the baby boomers and Gen X. This cusp generation combines the idealism of boomers and the pragmatism of Gen X. There is no way you guys are as cool as Gen X.
We raised you guys. We are definitely cooler.
You did not.
I did. My son is 46.
I'm 55, damn near. Wait. Oh, shit. I think I closed my window.
You're fired.
I know, right? I'm having a hell of a time tonight.
I done fired you twice tonight already.
Facts.
Oh, Lord.
JV wasn't even born. Shut up.
You were just a sparkle in your mommy and daddy's eye.
Damn millennials. But yeah, so little cool thing. He hit me up today and asked if I had ever heard of oh wow, I didn't know I did that. Sorry. Oh shit, there was a hold on, let me bring it back up. I was all prepped to talk about it too, and my dementia kicked in.
Your 55-year-old brain grinded to a halt.
My 55-year-old brain is crap. Crap. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Keep talking.
Awkward silence. I watched a video clip today of it came off of Gaia TV, which I don't subscribe to because I'm cheap, but the clip was off of there, and it was the lady talking about really old UFO lore stuff like Adamski and another name I can't think of now. And they were talking about the Valiant Thor, the alleged alien who, roamed around the White House. And they showed photographs of this dude.
Yeah.
And a couple of other people that were supposed to be aliens as well. And they were like gorgeous people. They look like movie stars, Hollywood movie stars, or
I think all them bitches are aliens.
And then later on in the show, I was about ready to turn it off because I was getting bored with it. But later on in the show, because I had heard the stories about Valiant Thor before, and anyway, she showed photographs that were allegedly taken in a ship, I guess.
Oh yeah, is it like Chris Hemsworth or Thor?
I don't know. It wasn't him. No, I don't know where that came from because this was from the 50s,
Right.
But anyway, the photographs that she showed after that were of other alien races and hybrids, quote unquote. And by God, I mean, the photographs, they were photographs. They weren't pictures. They weren't drawings. And this was from, olden days. Like I'm thinking maybe 50s or 60s,
Okay.
but I'm not for sure. Anyway, damn, one of those pictures looks like me when I was young. I know, right? I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, I think we've had that pulled up before, haven't we?
What's that?
The picture of you where you looked young, but it wasn't you.
No.
I swear to God, we did.
Well, this one of the pictures reminded me of me when I was a kid, when I was young.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
only
okay.
difference was they were a little bit more. The eyes were just a little bigger, but not much. And they were blue, and I have one blue eye and one green eye, but mostly
Right.
blue, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
the thing with them was they had small chins, small mouths, and small noses. You know what I mean? But bigger. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But you know, I got to thinking, and I was going to ask you. I should have sent you a link to that video. Maybe I'll find it and send it to you if I can find it. But
Okay.
um, it. I wonder. It got me to thinking, and I wonder: am I the only person in the world that does this? Because of what I've experienced and stuff. But sometimes when I go out in public, I feel people. I've not everybody, but I mean somebody's energy or something will get my attention, and I look at them and I think to myself, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are different than everyone else in this room. And then I think to myself, what are you? And there's been a couple of times when I've done that, and they've actually turned around and looked at me. It's almost like they could hear me think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I the only person in the world that is that sound just crazy to you? Or do you ever wonder sometimes about certain people you see out and about, like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Do you ever do that?
I mean, I've done that.
And I don't mean the weirdos and the
yeah, I mean, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I watch people. So
I love to watch people.
But I've never had anything quite like that. And I've never thought of something in my head with a stranger that they kind of stopped, turned around, looked at me like, what did you say? I do it with the wife all the time. I'll say something or she'll say something, and we really hadn't said anything.
Me and Dave do that too.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you live with somebody every day for 30 years, I guess
Right.
that's part of the deal. I don't know, but
well, I mean, come on, it's the whole candy and card thing with you guys. So
that was weird. But I thought about that today. I'm like, I wonder if other people do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, I just thought it was a question I would pose to you and to perhaps anybody who might be listening.
I don't think that I've ever really had anything quite like that at all, really. I mean, there's been times where I've been with people and we've kind of had the same idea at the same time, and we kind of look at each other like, oh, it's on, but nothing of that caliber or Excalibur. So, okay. The house that Jay was telling me about earlier today was the Monroe house up there by you, actually.
That name sounds familiar.
In Hartford City.
Okay, that's north of me, right?
Yeah, it's a little northeast.
A little bit north. Yeah, northeast.
If you were to look at it on a map, it almost is like right next to about a half-hour drive away from Kokomo.
Okay.
But I got the researchers over at BIPS taking a look at it. It's cost effective. I mean, unfortunately, it's a drive for us down here, but it's only like a half-hour drive for you. I'll just come over and sleep at your house again.
Oh, yeah.
I go see Dad.
Yeah. If my kid's here, my couch is comfy. You can sleep on that. Or I can throw him out. I can ho him. No, tell me what's about the house, though. Tell me about it.
Well, I can do you one better. We'll pull up well, they call it the Monroe Demon House. A lot of celebrities have been there investigating the house. Let's see. Indiana Monroe House is a place of mystery, darkness, and strange occurrences. This information that I'm getting right now is from KC Ghost.com. So this article that I'm reading is all for them. You can go check out their YouTube page, KCGhost.com. But let's see. Indiana Monroe House is a place of mystery, darkness, and strange occurrences. The reputation of occult rituals and violent paranormal activity has sent visiting investigators running off into the night. So it's supposed to be pretty active. I don't know about the whole running off in the.
Did that your favorite psych, not really paranormal investigator, go there one time?
Yes, they did.
I think that maybe I recognize it now.
Yeah,
there was another. Yeah, and there was another dude before him that was pretty popular on TV, but then he got in big trouble and then he disappeared. What was his name? I think he went there too. God darn it. Can't think of his name now.
Chris Fleming?
No.
It wasn't Johnny Zaffis.
No, it was the time period between Zach and Taps. It was another dude, and he was from the like Pennsylvania University.
Yeah. Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State. I can't think of his name though. I believe they went there too.
Ryan Buell.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He got in much trouble. And I think he faked cancer one time, and then he actually got cancer. I think. I don't know.
Holy cow!
He's had a rough way to go, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having the team look into it. They're supposed to be getting with me and getting me some information on that particular house, and I don't know. Maybe we can make a trek up there this summer and see about getting in there.
I just found that video, and I'm fixing to send it to you. Maybe.
What video?
The one I was just telling you about.
Here's what a whole home water filtration system.
Oh my God!
I don't want a water filtration system.
What is wrong with YouTube?
Hey, this is not a sponsored video by Water Filtration.
No, what is wrong with YouTube? You put everything on mute and no sound and all of that, and then you flip a video on. It's like, why do they do that?
That was pretty good.
This annoys the piss out of me. Anyways, I'm fixing to shoot you the link. You can probably skip through it and find those pictures. They're near the very end.
What pictures? What are you talking about?
The pictures of the aliens, these photographs this dude took.
Oh, you're gonna have me go through a video.
No, it's at the very end, but you can watch the video later. It's interesting, actually. It's interesting video, and you'll learn a whole lot about ufology in the olden days and whatnot. This lady, I don't think I've ever met her, but I've heard about her before, and I don't know how people feel about her, honestly, but she came across as pretty, forthright and whatnot. Her name is Paola Harris, and she's an investigative journalist, I guess you'd call her, kind of like Linda Moulton Howe. But anyway, the photographs are interesting. I've seen the photographs of Thor, Valiant Thor, before. I've seen that. Man, I'd spend time on the internet back at the farmhouse, in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep, and I'd be
digging down deep into that,
trying to educate myself and figure things out. This was the middle of us. We were doing our show, and I think I was doing that other thing with that other person whose name we will not mention.
Voldemort.
Pretty much. What are you doing? Oh, some of those are the My Air photos, I think.
Yep.
If I recall correctly, I recognize them.
I'm not playing any sound because I don't want us to get any kind of copyright.
Yeah. That's her. She's interesting. It's an interesting video. If anybody has time, they want to look at it. I guess. Pardon me. What?
Stupid cat. He just walked across my desk all on my
Oh.
keyboard. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Let me see if I can find these pictures here.
Just skip all the way to the very, very. That's. I don't know. That's not Thor. That's another one of the aliens. They're all humanoid. They all have smaller mouths and chins and noses. That looks a lot like the hybrid that I drew.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember the drawing I did?
I do.
Much like that. She looked very much like that. Except she had white hair. See what I mean? I mean, some of these people you would see out on, the street, and you wouldn't think anything of them, really.
Right.
For the most part, especially the gal up in the corner up there.
Yeah, the top right.
And I've seen people, there are filters that make people look like the one down at the bottom on the right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I have pictures of me with a filter that looks like that. I'm the ultimate catfishing picture. But anyway, that's a really good video. If anybody wants to check it out, please do. You could probably put a link in the chat or something. Anyway, I just wanted you to see those pictures because that's what got me to thinking, for the most part, put some modern clothing on those people and they are going to look just like, you're not going to even pay attention to them.
Right. Yeah.
And then the other ones, if you went back a little bit further back from those, you'd see the older photographs in Washington, D.C. of the people sitting in a crowd. And then there was one photo. It got me because there was one photograph she showed that it was like a big group of like 50 or 75 people sitting around this big ass table, right? And she said that they were told 3 of the people in this photograph are not human.
They're playing one of these things are not like the other game.
But you can't tell.
Right.
And it's not like I've always operated under the assumption that we're not alone here because I've seen too many weird people in my life, So I don't know. It just got my attention. I thought it was interesting. It reminds me of time. I mean, I've had several different contact things with what looked like human beings,
right.
Like regular people, only they clearly were different.
Right. Yeah.
But so it's not lost on me that we're not, and I think maybe that's why I notice people.
Yeah.
But I feel I see them with more than just my eyes and my ears. And I mean, there's another part of my senses somewhere that picks up on them. I don't know. Maybe that's what I wondered. Do y'all feel that different kind of vibe off of certain people? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think just about everybody can feel some type of energy off other people. But it's a whole different level when you can walk in and feel the energy of the room and like, wait a minute, and you pause. It's like, thanks, no thanks. I'll be leaving now.
I do that all the time. I thought everybody did that.
No.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was at Walmart trying to figure out which bag of salad I wanted to get and seen that dude standing there?
No.
For real, I've not. Come on, did I tell you that? I haven't told you that?
No.
It wasn't that terribly long ago. I was at Walmart, and you know how Walmart has like the whole wall of salad thing? I mean, all the lettuce and all the bags of salad in every shape or form you can imagine, right? And I'm standing there
Back to dicks.
You're such an asshole. Shut up. I'm standing there looking around, trying to figure out what kind of salad I want to get, right?
Right.
And then I'm bad. I check the date and I look and see if it's already starting looking funky in the, I'm gonna reach behind and get the back one.
Oh yeah.
Now. But so I'm standing there and all of a sudden I feel somebody looking at me, right? I feel it.
Right.
And I turn and I look, and there's this dude standing there. And it's probably maybe 10 feet from me, right?
Okay.
He's all dressed in black from head to toe. Even his hair's black, like gothy almost, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got one of them little red baskets in his arm. One of the on the Walmart basket, the little basket you carry, red or blue. I think it was red. Anyway, he stared at me, and he's got this wild ass, like Cheshire cat kind of smile on his face. And then I noticed his eyes were really dark brown, like really dark. And he was smiling at me, and I looked at him. Because when I turned around and looked at him, as soon as he saw me see him, he smiled. And it was just like, and I'm like, whew. I got goosebumps right now. Every time I think about it, I get the goosebumps all over again, right? So I quickly turned away and I'm like, what the is this? And I turn around and he's gone.
Really?
And I'm like, no, you did not, bitch. And I took off running to the end of the aisle. Nobody. I started light footing it right down the end aisle, looking down every aisle as I go.
Never saw him again?
Nope. Ran back around to the front of the store. I scoped out all the checkouts and the front door and everything. And I never saw that dude again. And wow. I thought, and I was freaked out. I left, didn't even get any salad. And I thought on the way home, though, I thought to myself, you know what? He seemed really happy that I saw him. Was that some kind of test? What was that? What was that?
It was some perv trying to mac on you in the salad aisle at the Walmart.
No, dude, but he was gone. And I mean, it was a whole different level of communication. Like almost felt like he was happy that I saw him. And that's all he needed to know. So he was gone. I'm like, what the, I mean, it's just so weird.
That is weird.
And I just wonder if other people have had those kind of seen somebody like that. I had the whole 17-hour bus trip with that Swedish guy. That is a whole book.
Yeah.
That story is an entire book. But that dude was walking around Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, at the bus station with me in the Burger King and the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, he was literally physically right here, but I don't know what he was. I'm thinking right now, okay, I'm 66.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, when I met him, he was 34. Was he 34? No, he was 33 and I was 23. He was 10 years older than me. So if he was still alive now, he'd be 76. Right?
Right.
But, and I'm not the most computer savvy person on the planet. I do okay for an old lady. My son doesn't have to come over and fix my shit every week.
Yeah.
I can figure out a lot of stuff, but
okay.
For years and years after I met him, and his name in the book, they called him Lars. Bud called him Lars in the book, and I called him Lars in my book when I wrote it, but his name was Pear. And I don't mean like Pare. It was like Par. And he told me, it sounds like the fruit, but this is how it's spelled, and it's a very common name where I'm from.
Okay.
And I said, "Where are you from?" And he said he was from near Sweden. Okay, he was from Sweden. All right, but he had an accent, but it was very sing-songy like, and it was absolutely nothing like the Swedish accents that I've ever heard anybody who was from Sweden speak. It was
Right.
beautiful. It was beautiful. But I was a 23-year-old kid, never went anywhere outside of the United States in my life. I had no clue, so I just accepted it, you know. But this dude was something else. And the wild thing was, after I met him on the bus and went through that whole thing with him, you know, I told Bud about him, because I seriously, when I got off that bus back in Indy, and my fiance picked me up, I could not stop crying for like 2 weeks, because I missed this guy.
Yeah.
And Greg, you know me, I was not me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've told Bud about him and all the weird shit that happened during the bus trip. And Bud's like, that was a little strange. And also my friend Rosemary, who lives in New York and was working with Bud, she was like, oh my God, you know, that's so wild, Debbie. But privately, she was telling Bud, oh my God, she's so lonely. She just made some shit up or whatever, you know, and it wasn't the case. And Bud knew me. He knew better than that. So he's like, you know what? Let's see if we can remember some details about this guy. So over the phone, he walked me through some self-hypnosis, to try to remember details of the conversations we had. I remembered enough details of our conversations, like where he was working in Cincinnati. Because he was he transferred from Columbus to Cincinnati, and I went from Columbus to Indy. So that was when we got off the bus and had to go on different buses. I remembered the name of the motorcycle courier that he worked for. Yeah. I remembered his birthday. You know, yeah, his birthday was 1 year. His birthday was 1 month and 1 day different from mine, but he was 10 years older than me.
Really?
His birthday was March 16th, and my birthday was February 17th. But but he was 10 years older than me. But
right.
You know, so I mean, I just remembered all kinds of little things, enough details that Bud found him. Bud actually found him and spoke to him on the phone.
Shut up! No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He spoke. Not only did he speak to him, but he spoke to the guy who owned the motorcycle courier place that he was working for. And as it turned out, this dude that I met, he was from another country, but the man told Bud, and I'll never forget, Bud had this conversation with me. He told Bud that Per was very eccentric. He was extremely intelligent. He did a lot of interesting things. He was very eccentric. He was actually somehow connected to Swedish royalty, and he didn't really work like he just he plane hopped all over and traveled all around the world. But he liked to ice motorcycle race, and he wrote articles occasionally for sports things, and had to do with motorcycle racing, was ice motorcycle racing, which I never even heard of. I had no idea that was even a thing. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, they have little Peggies in the back tires,
I guess.
Yeah, they're like little it'll come to me. Pikes, peaks, I don't know, pricks, and
studs.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. And they get on top of the band, and they're on the ice, and it just, it's pretty fun to watch, actually.
Well, eventually I found videos and stuff like that because I tried to do a search for him. But anyway, so Bud gave me the address of the place where he was living. The guy told him, he said he's here for the summer. He agreed to work. He wanted to work for me in exchange to stay here for free. and it was just out running around doing whatever he wanted. And so Bud gave me the address to the place, and I mailed him this coin that I had, a brass coin that had two hands that were clasping, and with his friendship coin that my dad got from Ford. I don't know how he got it from the UAW at Ford or whatever. And I mailed it to him.
Right.
And he called me. He called. And he told me, I got your coin. I'll carry it with me forever. I will come back for you someday. I promise. There's a long silver trailer near where you live, and I want to take you there and dance with you. And I'm like, okay. Right. I don't know. Yeah, that's what he told me. Right. So anyway, I swear to God, for 20 years after this, every time I heard a motorcycle go down my street, whether I was living at mom and dad's or after I moved down to Indy or out to Cumberland or wherever, whenever I hear a motorcycle come down my street and sound like it was going to slow down in front of my house, I would think it was him for like 25 years, right?
Wow.
And he never came back. But I dreamed about him 3 times. I had 3 different lucid dreams about him. Mm-hmm. And in one of them, I was in the hospital. It was after I was already living with, of course, I was still living with my mom and dad at the time. And my back went out while I was pulling Casey out of the bathtub. And I ended up in the hospital. And they were running a bunch of tests on me. They was about ready to do a myelogram. You remember them? I don't even know if they do them anymore. Yeah, it was something they did in your spinal column whenever you couldn't feel your legs and shit. It's called a myelogram. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't walk.
Damn.
I was bad.
Right.
And so I scheduled me for this myelogram. And I dreamed him. And he came to my hospital room. And he's like, "What are you doing in this place?" And I said, "I'm in the hospital." And he goes, "What is a hospital?" And, it's a whole thing about, if you read the story about, what all went down at the Burger King, he's a weirdo. Right. He's like, "What is a hospital?" And I told him, this is where sick people go to get better, or get born or die. And he's like, "Well, you're not going to do that." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not planning on it." And he's like, "You don't belong here." And I said, "Well, I kind of do, because I can't walk." Right. And he laid down the bed next to me, and he was rubbing my back and, just talking to me and shit. And I fell asleep. In my dream, I fell asleep. Right. The next morning when I got up, I went to get up, got out of bed, walked to the bathroom, sat down and peed. And then I went, hold on. I just walked.
I'm walking.
Not only am I walking, it don't even hurt. And I just peed all by myself.
Right.
So I pulled the rope for the nurse, in the bathroom, because I was I freaked out. I go, "What did I just do? Did I just break myself for good?" And the nurse came in. She's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I walked in here on my own and I feel fine." And she's like, "What?" So she called the doctor. He came in and looked at me. He canceled the myelogram and he discharged me.
Holy crap.
My back never acted up again until many, many, many years later, when I had a bone spur in my sciatic nerve, which they went in and took out. It's been fine ever since then. Other than that time, it's never went crazy. My neck's lost its damn mind, but my lower back, it never went crazy again. Right. Now, I looked for this dude for years. Once I got a computer, once I got hooked up with KO and I learned how to do computer stuff and I started learning how to do searches, I looked all over the internet for this dude, high and low. I had his name. I had his full name, even his middle name, and his birth date. I knew kind of where he lived. His friend that he was staying with said that he was very eccentric, and that he would disappear for years, literally. Nobody in his family would know where he was for a couple years at a time. And then he'd just show up at somebody's doorstep. "Hey, how are you?" No mention of where he'd been or how long he'd been gone, and would never talk about him. Just carry on like it was just yesterday.
Like it's no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody just came to expect that from him. That's just how he rolled. Okay. But he did tell, and he also told, his friend also told Bud, I don't know what it is about that girl, but he was enamored with her. He talked about her nonstop when he came home. He really thought she was something. And at one point during the bus trip, he puts his hands on my face and he pulls my hair back and he goes, "Where I'm from, all the women wear their hair like this." And he pulled it up away from my face, like
Right.
back. And he goes, "That would be so pretty on you." And I'm like, okay, I wore my hair like that for like 10 years afterwards. But I mean, I was 23 at the time, I was still,
Yeah.
I was cute. I was chubby, but I was cute. Shit. Anyway. So,
Okay.
but now listen, I went and hunted for this dude for 20 years and I gave up. The only thing I could find was one photograph of a guy on a motorcycle. And of course, he had on a whole full black helmet. So you ain't going to see his face. That's the only thing I could find of this dude. This whole internet was wiped of this dude, but he was real. Bud saw him. Bud met him. Bud talked to him on the phone twice. Bud talked to his friend from his life,
Right. Yeah.
Dave's a real dude. Then, right before we moved here and the tornado came,
Right.
I found something that made me cry all night long. I found a tombstone with his full name and the correct birth date on that.
No.
I knew it was him. And then I got to Googling it more, and the tombstone was in Sweden, in a little town, a little coastal town in Sweden, in a graveyard. I even know, I have a directory of the graveyard, where it's at.
Yeah.
It's the full right name, all three, the full complete birthday, but the date of death was 1985. I met him in 1984. I didn't start dreaming about him until after 1985.
Right.
So it's like he was coming. I felt like he was coming to me in my dreams, or in my, in another dream I had. And in retrospect, it kind of reminds me of an old book I read one time when I was a kid called A Wrinkle in Time. This dude, he came to my dream. He says, "Come here. I want you to come with me. I want you to see this place. It's so cool." I'm like, okay. Because I would follow this guy anyway. Literally, he had me hypnotized or some shit.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized with him.
Right.
When I was with him, you could say, you have a fiance and 2 little kids. I'm like, huh? Who?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I know, literally. So he comes to me and he says, "Come on, I want to take you somewhere really cool. I want you to see it. I think you'll like it." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "You have to hold my hand and you have to hold it really, really tight." I'm like, "Okay." So I held his hand really, really tight, and then everything went black. And he kept talking to me. He's like, "Can you hear me? I'm still here." And I said, "I can feel your hand in mine and I can hear you, but I can't see you. I can't see anything." And he's like, "It's okay. I'm here with you." And I said, "I can't see anything." And then all of a sudden I started feeling flat. I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel weird. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel flat. I feel flat." And it's quiet for a minute. And I'm like, "Are you still there?" And he said, "Ah, shit, you can't come yet. You're not ready." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I woke up.
Damn.
Now, what the hell kind of dream is that? I was a grown ass woman when I had this dream too, mind you.
He's trying to take you across the veil, it sounds like.
Somewhere, but I couldn't go. So, but anyway, so, when I say I've met some weird ass human beings in my life, I ain't lying.
Well, you definitely had some weird things going on. I mean,
Have you
me.
ever had anything like that at all? Come on, don't be scared.
I'm not a scarred. I've not had nothing like that ever happen to me.
Damn. Well,
nothing. I mean, nothing of that nature. I mean, dreams or not dreams. It's just I had a pretty boring life up until I met you, and then I started seeing things.
Sorry.
Thanks for that, Deb.
You're welcome anytime. like I said, if he was still alive now, he'd be 76 years old. And it's
Right.
just so weird because, every now and then something will remind me of him.
Yeah.
Like when he got on the bus, when we went to separate and go our separate ways,
Yeah.
in Columbus, and he had to go to Cincinnati and I had to go to Indy. And I was crying at this point. I'm like, dude, and he's like, don't cry. He had looked at me in the Burger King and I had thought to myself, I'm never going to see you again. You don't even have my phone number. And at that moment, he looked up at me and smiled and said, give me your phone number. I didn't say that to him out loud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He must have hurt me.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I still every now and then, when I got on the bus, it was pouring down rain, and I thought, oh, this is appropriate because this day is exactly how I feel: dark and cold and sad and raining, and and I'm crying. And he says, put your headphones on and listen to some music. And he gave me his newspaper that I bought for him out of the newspaper box. He says, look at the paper. And he goes, everything will be fine. I'll see you again someday. I promise you I'll come back for you. I said, okay. So I got on the bus. I'm sitting there boo-hooing and shit. We pull out of the bus station. It's raining. I turned my headphones on, and this song starts playing immediately, like it was playing for me. And
What
it was
song?
Spandau Ballet.
What was the song?
By Spandau Ballet.
Right.
Oh, shit. What's the name of the song? Hold
Was
on.
it the song Hold My Heart? Whoa, something.
Hold on. Let me say.
You better stay with me.
True. By Spandau Ballet.
Okay.
I'll get you let me find the lyrics to it here.
Just send me Google it and send me the link to the song. I don't know. I feel like this story deserves a copyright infringement.
Well, here's the lyrics. It says, so true, funny how it seems, always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels when toe to toe. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I bought a ticket to the world, and now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. With a thrill in my head and a pill on my tongue, dissolve the nerves that have just begun. Listening to Marvin all night long. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. Always slipping from my hands, sands a time of its own. Take your seaside arms and write the next line. I want the truth to be known. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? I want the truth to be told. I want the truth to be. I want the truth to be said. Blah, 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 blah. That's like fucking stunning to me. The you know what I mean? Anyway, I opened the newspaper up while this is playing.
Oh, yeah. This song.
What are you doing? What? Are you trying to hypnotize me now? Anyways, that's first of all, and then when I opened up the newspaper, guess what was on the page? It was a 2 full-page ads. Same thing of missing children.
Oh, shit.
All the faces of all these little kids that were missing.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, you can read a million jillion things into this.
Right.
With this guy and with me and everything. And then, I don't know. But anyway, so, he was a real live person here, but I don't think he was from here
Right.
originally. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
That whole story, I kid you not, that's not only a book, it's a movie. I
I'd
mean,
watch it.
if I could find someone, to teach me how to pitch shit to Hollywood, I swear to God. I mean, it is, in a way, it's a little. Did you ever see the movie Starman, which ended up being one of my favorite movies?
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that completely. But there were components of what I experienced that were similar, and it made me wonder, whoever wrote that movie, did you have an experience like this? Because I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wonder shit like that all the time myself, like with movies and whatnot, or like TV shows especially. So you like have a particularly heavy show. For example, you're watching a comedy and it goes, hard drama, like let's say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when he was crying about his dad. Why does he want me, man? Somebody was having a serious bad fucking week, and was it projected out into the writing of that show. But I think that happens all the time. We stream TV. We don't have like regular TV, so we watch little stupid shows here and there. And you can always tell when the writers have had a bad week because the show is dark and not, if it's a comedy, it's shit's not funny. If it is a drama, then it's like a dark drama, like it's one of the characters gets shot and killed or some kind of shit like that. But it's like, there's some personal stuff hitting the main waves with that, because
well, I mean, look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind was I don't know how many people realize this or not, but J. Allen Hynek was one of the consultants on that movie with Steven Spielberg, and it was some of the things that you see on there were actually taken from actual real reports that people reported. So
I did not know that.
Yes, absolutely. And he actually has a cameo in the movie at the very end when the big spaceship comes down, or whatever. You'll see a dude standing there with a pipe in his mouth. That's Dr. Hynek. They gave him a little cameo in the movie, but he was a consultant in that movie. All those different things that happened with the mom and the little kid in the farmhouse, and then the kid got abducted, and then people being dropped back off, that have been abducted like 40 years, 50 years ago and showed up again. They claim that that's happened. The way Roy, how the stoplight for the train started shaking and the light, people report that all the time when they have encounters with shit like this, that these things came out of actual reports from actual real people. So,
that guy right there, can you see that?
Yeah. Why? What? Stop it.
What?
Why are you showing me over and over again doing that?
I wasn't. I was trying to share this. I was trying to show the people who you're talking about. Here, let me do that. Great gravy. I was trying to share our screen. The window that I have the studio open in.
Yeah.
On the same window that I'm trying to show the picture.
Oh.
I think this is the right one. Yeah, there it is. There he is.
And then that's him on this that is an actor that played him on the Close Encounters set. That's him. That is the real Dr. J. Allen Hynek right there. And he was the consultant for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. A lot of the things that Steven Spielberg presented, for the experiencers came from actual cases. Like Roy, people standing out on the curve of the road, waiting for UFOs to fly by. Roy having his, his Devil's Tower moment with his mashed potatoes and shit like that. That's all things that actual people have reported. And there was a French researcher in the movie, and he was modeled after, I can't think of his name now. Look, I just had his name in my mouth. Jacques Vallée. Jacques Vallée is a world-renowned UFO researcher. He's been around for decades. And the French guy in the Close Encounters of the Third Kind was modeled after Jacques Vallée.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a lot of trivia about Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It came out in 1977, which was the year I graduated from high school. And I remember my father, us kids were older at that point. When we were younger and we still believed in Santa Claus and all that, we'd have to be in bed by 9 or Santa wouldn't come or any of that. But when we got older, one of our family traditions was we went to the movies together as a family on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
If we didn't go to my Uncle Jim's and play poker, we went to the movies, And so in 1977, Dad took us to see Close Encounters of the Third Kind at the movies. And I remember watching it, and, I'd already had some encounters with the gray dudes when I was younger and all that. And I remember poking my dad and being like, "Look at that, Dad. Look, that's right." And he kept saying, "If you poke me one more damn time, your ass is sitting in the car, ma'am." Right. I remember being so, I was a little bit freaked out because it was like somebody went in my head, especially the scene when, they've already decided that they're going to take Roy, when the government has offered up these volunteers to go in exchange for whatever the hell it is they exchange. And they allegedly, this is based on true alleged things as well, like the space program where they took volunteers to go off to wherever with these aliens, and in exchange they gave them technology and whatever. I mean, there's people out there that claim that's a real thing too. But anyways, in the movie they do that, and they had all these people picked out by whatever criteria that the government had. Well, the aliens had their own ideas. They only wanted one of them, and it was Roy. It was the abductee, right?
Okay.
So when they all came out of the spacecraft, well, first the big one comes out, or the big one starts coming out, and all these little ones come out underneath of him, and they all run to Roy. And they take Roy, and they're all like with their little fingers, like, "Just come with us." Come. He's just smiling like, "This is so cool, man." Right. And when they all came running out towards him, I got a little freaked out. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, "What the hell?" I mean, it was like, you got in my head. Why? How did you do that? So, but yeah,
why just Roy?
I don't know. That's all they needed, I guess. They just weren't.
Which goes back to our story before, is like when the writers were doing this and when they were doing the research, and something hit home, and that, is it something that they knew that they were in their fields about, and that's why they wrote it like that? Why was it just him and not like the mom?
I swear to God, I think Steven Spielberg's been abducted.
I think there's a lot of aliens walking amongst us in Hollywood. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these actors and actresses that have come up, like in our generation, I mean, you really got to wonder, like, okay, who might be, and I'm just saying, this is a thought, who might be not from here?
Well, Kanye West is clearly not from here.
Yeah, he is, because he's batshit crazy.
Oh my Lord,
But
have mercy. But yeah, I get you though. I understand. And there's I think there's a whole bunch of them that are because Hollywood is important
Mhm.
in the dissemination, and getting the message out, or planting the seeds for people to open their minds. Hollywood has held a very important role. My late um, uh, publisher, Robbie Graham, God rest his soul. He wrote a really wonderful book called Silver Screen Saucer or something like that. And it details the impact that Hollywood has had over the years on how people view the whole ufology thing, UFOs
Right.
and aliens and stuff.
Yeah. Well, with the control of pop culture that Hollywood would have, that driving factor in itself, I mean, that's kind of why I think that that's a possibility, and some of the actors and actresses, they just don't look real. You know what I mean? They just don't look real to me.
They so beautiful.
It's always been like that, even back in the old movies that I used to watch from the 40s and the 50s. Like there's something on a different level, and I'm sure everyone can say, well, makeup and all of that, but it's more than that.
There's something to be said for being photogenic too. I mean, I've met a few famous people in my day, and I kid you not, if I didn't know who they were by being introduced to them, I would have never had a clue when I saw them in person.
Yeah.
Because they don't look anything. Now, there's some people that just look spot on. I mean, there's no denying it, but a lot of people they don't look like they do on TV.
Right.
I don't know if it's what does that have being real photogenic, like the shadows and the lines of their face photograph in a different kind of way than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just don't. I would never have known who they were. I'm quite sure, I've been out to California many times. I'm quite sure I've walked right past famous people and had no clue I was looking at, because I've met a few that way. But then there's some that are undeniable, that are distinctive, and there's no getting around it, especially if they open their mouth,
Right. Well,
I don't know. Could be. Huh?
Athletes. Peyton Manning.
Well, yeah, peanut head.
Yeah, Tom Brady. I don't know. There's some athletes that I wonder that about as well. It's like
I would recognize Reggie Miller even now, old, because I was a huge fan of Reggie Miller's.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And I loved Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I
I
do too.
absolutely adored him. I still do. I love Peyton Manning. So, and what was the name of the other coach that not coach, a quarterback we had before Peyton, the one where we actually started winning after years of never winning a game. Now he's a coach.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, James Harbaugh. I loved him. Jim Harbaugh. I remember we actually took my mom. My mom loved him too. We actually took my mom to a Colts game when he was the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And my mom was a huge Jim Harbaugh fan. I really loved it. And that's when the team really started kind of turning around.
Kind of clicking.
Started kind of clicking. They started hitting the cylinders, and then Peyton came along, and it was it was like heaven to be a Colts fan. And I mean, we bought season tickets. We used to go down to Crown Plaza and spend the whole weekend whenever there was a game. I mean, it was just fantastic. And then he got hurt, and then it all went to hell, and it ain't never been right since. I liked Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had a lot of promise, and I really liked him a lot.
I did too. And then
I really wanted Peyton back, damn it. But I mean, I didn't run the show, so it
Well, see,
was
the
what it
thing
was.
was, I feel like they kind of did him dirty.
Who, Peyton
know,
Manning?
After all that he did, and the
Mhm.
Super Bowl and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other, and then, oh well, we're not going to play you. Your neck, get out of here. He was fine. They just wanted.
They just didn't want to pay him. That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
And they didn't want to pay for a decent line to protect him.
Yeah,
And that's what poor Andrew Luck got his ass worked.
yeah, that's why he quit.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what, you fools.
Now, I don't even watch them anymore.
I don't either.
I don't even watch them anymore. They just piss me off so bad. I'm done with them.
I don't even watch. I used to watch basketball all the time and football.
I don't watch the Pacers anymore either. Nope.
Although they have been doing really good here this past couple of seasons. They really have.
Dave's been watching them, but I see it passing. But
I'm getting back into that a little bit. And the fever with Caitlin Clark, I mean, that whole scenario right there is pretty intense. And I will watch her play some ball because she's a baller. But I've been really getting into like baseball.
I know I was a huge Cubs fan. My mother, when my mom was alive, she liked the Cincinnati Reds. And so my mother was a big, it's funny because my mom was a bigger sports fan than my dad. My dad couldn't give two shits about anything. Yeah. But my mom loved the Colts and she loved the Pacers and she loved the Cincinnati Reds. Yep. But I was a Cubbies girl. I liked the Cubs.
I don't have a team. I don't particularly care who wins or loses. I just like watching a good game.
I love baseball, though. That's my favorite sport.
Yeah, I watched St. Louis and Pittsburgh, I think it was, a couple of days ago, Wednesday, and they went 13 innings.
Yeah, they can go. Even when both my boys played Little League for several years, and I was that mom. Dude, I was that mom in the back, right behind the plate. Woohoo, that's my boy. Hey, better, swing. Shit like that.
Mom, shut up.
But I loved it. I loved baseball.
We had a good time. Yeah, I grew up playing baseball as well. Played it up until about my sophomore year of high school, and then the coach was a dick, and I quit. He was. He was a fucking retard. I have nothing nice to say about that piece of shit.
I never got into sports because I was like a roly-poly bug. Growing up, I was 5'2" and by 5'2".
Jay's a Twins fan. Come on, man.
The hell, there is somebody at my front door, and that is bizarre.
Huh. Better call 911. Go get the pew pew.
No, because I can't see them now. It might be Casey. I bet it was. I hate it when your kids come to your house and they don't tell you. Yep, that was him. Never mind.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Thank God for the rings.
We live out in the country, and I have 3 dogs and a pew pew. So,
have you ever? I've been seeing a lot of crazy Ring doorbell video footage from TikTok, which come on, TikTok. Half that shit on there is AI and people, you know what I mean? But some of it's pretty creepy looking. And I don't even know why these people engage. If that came to my front door, I'd be calling 911 long before I ever pushed that button.
Right. Paranormal and like cryptozoology.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I want to do a Squatch. I don't want to say hunt because I ain't going to try and hunt nothing that's stronger than a bear and can kill me quicker.
Why? Like, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Get out in the woods and listen for weird sounds and see if we can't get a funny picture and move along. They've been seen actually probably a good 20 miles
I was getting ready to say you're right down in there where Jerry Severs had God rest his soul. He got a big giant ass plaster cast of a footprint down there near Vincennes.
Yeah. Well, this one is Corden, which is northeast.
That's the
No,
old state capital.
yeah, northwest of us. And they've had sightings there last summer. They had quite a few sightings. So I'm trying to get the kids together. Maybe we can do that, or we're going to do a sky watch here this year at the house. We're going to go out there, and I'm going to fire up the bonfire, and we're all going to look out into the dark sky and away from the bonfire because the lights is bad for when you're trying to sky watch. But
duh. You need to get a trail cam. I had a trail cam when we lived out at the farm. I had one.
yeah,
They're not that expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty interesting. You can see some pretty. I didn't see nothing but a bunch of deer, but still,
Right.
you can stick you a trail cam up there.
I ain't but seen like the possibility of one deer in this area, like in my yard. Bunny rabbits, coyote.
Good God. One morning I woke up and looked out the back window at my farmhouse. And I kid you not, there must have been 25 or 30 deer out there.
Really?
And they were all by the lake. They were just milling around. Some were drinking out of the water. Yeah.
They were having a dorgy.
And something. It was cold outside. I remember that day, but
yeah,
we used to put salt licks out for them.
Yeah.
Because we had cattle and we had cows and we had, pigs, and Ko had access to that sort of thing, and he'd throw one out there for them.
Yeah.
But
I've seen rabbit legs and coyote scat. One time, the first year that we were here, I found that, and then I've not seen any more of that at all. So I don't know. If
where's your nearest neighbor?
About 100 yards across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So a football field away.
Oh yeah.
And then the one next to that is probably, I don't know, maybe 2.5 football fields north of us, and then probably a football field south of us, and then probably 2 football fields behind us. So not very close.
Yeah.
But I mean, the interstate runs parallel to my property. So
can you hear it from your house?
Yep. More so in the winter because all the dead,
echoes.
And, yeah. But when in the summertime, it kind of quiets down the road noise. But I've only seen, it looked like a white wolf to me out in our tree line. I mean, it was big, white. The head was just like a timber wolf. And I've only seen it once.
I saw a solid black deer in Noblesville a few years back when I was cutting through to go to, I was cutting through there to go to Fisher's. And I saw, and was it on 32 or 38? I can't remember which one it was. So, and I saw him twice in one season, a solid black deer.
That's
solid black. It was cool as shit.
Right? Weird. Well, that last investigation we went on a couple weekends ago, I was leaving, turned right onto the road to get out to the main road, and there's a whole freaking flock of deer right there. I thought for sure I was going to hit me one. What's that beeping?
I don't know. There's a weird light in my backyard. I'm going to have to go investigate it because I don't have any idea what in the hell that is.
Got the weird shit happening, man.
Something's going down back here. What the?
All right, so check it out. We're going to get off here so Deb can go check out the backyard. We'll have a news update for you guys next Thursday night as to what we find.
Yep.
Of course, unless she's abducted and taken off the planet. If that's the case, well, then I will see you next Thursday night. No, wait, we won't be.
No, Thursday I'll be out of town. We might do it another day or whatever. Either rerun or we can do it Friday.
Yeah,
Friday, I'm
probably
good.
today or man. How many more toes you want to step on?
What?
Crackhead.
Me?
I was trying to talk, and you was like all over my foot.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just blowing you shit. But yeah, either Friday or Saturday, we'll probably do something like that and have another shoe. And if you guys can't catch us live, we'll do a little restream of it. I have to figure that out again on here on this particular platform. The other one was pretty easy, but I've noticed that if you run over an hour, you need to pay an extra $100 a month to be able to run a repeat show. That's longer than 60 minutes. Yeah, I know it's a crock. We'll figure something out though. But you guys come check us out. I'll try to post up on Facebook sometime Friday morning as to what we're going to do. But again, if you guys have any friends or you have stories of the paranormal yourself, or even UFO stories or cryptozoology or anything paranormal, hit us up. We'd love to have you on the show and have you talk about your experience. No judging here, not from either one of us. So this is a safe spot for you guys to come and tell your stories.
Yep.
So if that's something that you might be interested in, hit me up in the DMs on my Facebook, on the Midwest Paratalk Radio Facebook page. You can hit me up on email at gcable@midwestparatalkradio.com. You can hit Deb up at debcobble at gmail.com. And any questions, comments, or concerns, send them all to Deb. So
Thanks.
with all that being said, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to jibber jabber and have a good time doing it. So, all right, well, we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye.